Alright, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justmoparjoe. This is our part 2, the disassembly for the piggy bank horsepower build competition. This is the 360 that is going in the Project Ramcharger Revival. And step number 1, we're just going to get these lifters and cam out. So start with the top end, got to get the front cover off. I was told these lifters are new and just put onto this mystery cam. We got $850 in our, it was basically a long block. The heads are still at Ed's machine. He's getting those worked up for me. The theme of this one has been spray paint rebuild. So engine's got a couple of different coats of paint on it. These are non-factory pistons, as we talked about last time. So let's get this cam and lifters out. I'd kind of like to know their condition as I pop them out. I'll look. Could just be an oily varnish from the engine being built not very cleanly. See if I can get it to wipe up. And still got a, could just be an old oil stain or something, but here we go. We are not using our mystery cam. We have another cam coming from Mr. Rodney Bird. I know I've already said that, but here we are. They seem like they look like they almost have a little dish to them. You can kind of see that concave circle there. I don't know. I'd have to ask him again what brand they are, but they're pulling out fairly easily, so that's a bonus. I pulled this bolt out. I want you to look at that end. That's a sign right there that these threads probably weren't chased in this block. Maybe he chased the head bolt holes, hopefully. But get her pried off here. Hopefully there's something good. I see a double row. That is amazing how dusty that dude is. Dog hair included. Chain's pretty nice. That's a bonus. Timing marks are lined up dot to dot. It won't matter on our next cam. We're going to degree it. Be part of our process, but we should be able to. I'll wash this thing off really well with solvent, soak it, and should be able to reuse it. It's pretty tight. So that's a bonus. I can find some numbers on this, on the back side of this cam or something, just kind of figure out what it is. I'll get our chain off. So here's our cam plate. It does not show a lot of wear. I always try to look at that. If there's any kind of wear inside here where the cam is kind of thrust into it. That looks nice. So if that's original to this engine, that would be a great sign. Obviously it's not brand new. It had once had some surface rust on it, but that looks good. We can pop our cam out. This is a pretty desirable block actually, because you can run the roller cams in it. And this one could get a roller cam later, but it doesn't actually need one for what it's going in. All right, I got me an old bullet cam box out. I'm gonna throw this one in there. This is part number 930144. So maybe I can get that looked up. If I can, I will put it in the video somewhere. It looks okay-ish. I wasn't not gonna wipe off any of the lube because I didn't want it to rust in the box if I ever figure out what it is. So carrying on. So it's a few days later. I went drag racing and we got back so late I just backed the car and the trailer right in the garage and here it be. So it's encroaching on my space, but I still got plenty to move my engine around. Well, it looks pretty clean in there. I'm feeling a little better about our engine now. Clean. I can see the bottom of the pan, so that's nice. We won't really know till we flip it over. See, the dog here is all included. But yeah, let's go for a spin. Figured I hadn't done this in a while. Little first person action. I got all the bolts out of that. See that old black dirty oil running down the rail there. It had plenty of RTV on it, but the pan looks like it was spray paint rebuild. Look at there. Used to be orange, then we turned it red. I don't know. Maybe it was black before that. Who knows? Got us a windage tray. There's a bonus. Inside the pan. The pan definitely used to be black. So, not terrible, I guess. Set her down. Oh man, look at that rear. Good googly moogly. That rear seal. I can stick my finger under it. It was not sealing at all. Still not sure on why this thing won't turn over. You can see even if I can't bump it. And I don't want to force. All right. Oil pump is good and dirty. It definitely looks used. I'm gonna pop it off. Pop the windage tray off. Maybe that'll help keep all that dripping from happening. But that's performance bonus right there to have the windage tray. I mean, maybe this was somebody's little hot rod engine at one point. I don't know. There we go. You can, if I get over here and shake it. There's funk left in the pickup tube. We don't like to start our new engines with funk in the pickup tube if we can help it. I can at least check it right there before I pop this thing apart. I'm certain that it is not excessive, and I'd have to look up what it is. So we'll start with 10 thousandths. 10. Starts and is very tight, so I'd call it 9 thousandths. I don't know if these other ones, if I can get us over there, are actually free enough to be able to get it in there or not. But yep, it's a real tight 10 there. Ten's not going there. And 10 works on the end between 1 and 2. So I'll get to the ones I can. Man, that's tight. Start with number 1. And I'm going to knock them out one by one, trying not to rotate the engine in case my bearings are actually good and new and usable. I don't know if they are or not. Won't know till we look. But there's a reason why it's locked up right now, and I don't know what that reason is yet. Here's our first bearing. Let's all look together. She looks pretty new. I don't see any major scratches in it. Get my rag. Looks pretty good. We're going to assume that they are all the same set of bearings, but we won't know until I pull them apart and actually look at the back of all of them. All right, we are standard. Looks like 01 of 13. So, laying around on the shelf. 2130. Now, I know this will make y'all happy. A couple old pieces of rubber gas line. I'm just going to slip on the bolts to keep from tearing up the journal of the crank, because maybe, just maybe, it is in really good shape and it won't even need polished. I don't know. Nobody knows. There we go. So as it comes off, the rubber will touch the journal now instead of nicking it and hurting it. Now we're cooking. Ooh. Let me bring around this other side. Slow and steady wins the race. Aha. Here's our number 1 piston. Bearing looks good. It's got a little bit of watermark there, maybe where moisture or something got on it. The wrist pin is seized, and I'm betting you bucks that all of them are seized. I would guess these rods have been reconned. If I can get, I don't know if they're stock bolts or not. Somebody out there is probably looking right now and yelling, those aren't stock bolts. Those are KB 509 pistons. So that's cool. It's got a 92 on it, whatever that means. And the bottom of the piston has some kind of some black carbon, like it's that is ran before in something. I don't know if it was this or not, but rings are nice and free. All good signs. And they had them gapped. Gapped here, gapped there. So all that looks good. But yeah, that seized wrist pin will cause an engine not to be able to turn over. So a fine sign. I guess I can go through now and knock them all out. Went ahead and popped out 1 and 2. I got to number 3, and I thought y'all'd like to see that. That's big ugly there. I bet you $1 to a donut I can catch my finger in it, even with the gloves on. There was probably a giant piece of trash in the crank that was never cleaned out. And when that was shoved down on there, that scratch is basically in line with that hole. So I don't know if it was ever primed or what the deal was, but good golly, what a gash. So I was on the fence about even trying to reuse these bearings, just because I don't know anything about them. But our crank feels pretty good there from what I can tell. I think it still needs to be cleaned up. That oil hole has been chamfered. Maybe someone did a poor job of chamfering the oil hole, and then, or they chamfered it and didn't have it polished or something afterwards. That could be something that dug into that bearing. But I just wanted to show you that. That's live action. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to bring it up. We got all laid out over here. I had one more that was starting to spin a piece of trash in it, and in my mind it had to have been built with that piece of trash in there somewhere. There it goes. Hopefully that'll focus. It looks like that was the flat spot, you know, like that trash was bolted down and then it spun over that amount. It ended up in there somehow. That bearing scored. That dude there's just totally destroyed. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that could sand that and use it if they were building some kind of little Chevrolet car or something. But this is a Mopar here, so we're going to treat it a little nicer. The crankshaft, I really, I'll just use me for an example. I got all those rods off there, and my first instinct is, let's see if that sucker will spin, say how free she spins and all that. If there's a chance I can save these main bearings, like maybe they're brand new and unharmed, then we're going to, and I'm not going to spin this any. So I'm going to pop my caps off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The old flex plate's just going to come with it because it's bolted on, and I would have to get it off the engine stand to get it off right now, or use a wrench and a lot of headache. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to take my caps off one by one, and we'll look at those main bearings while we're unbuilding this engine. All right, I got my number 1 cap off, and that's exactly how it came. Looks like the bearing will press back down in there fine, but it's real black and dirty. Bearing looks pretty nice. Like I said, if we can save those, there's a little dot of trash or something right there. If we can save these, that'll save us $100. If they're a quality, decent bearing. And 10 of 12. Standard. 345, 1. C4453. I don't know what those numbers mean. I'll have to look them up, but standard means standard. There's our cap. If y'all want to see the surface on it, I'm gonna pop that bearing back in there for now. That's number 1. Bolts look extra oily. Let's do number 2. So I already have the bolts loose. I like to lift them out of there, and if it's possible, I'll hold a little pressure. Just bump that with my hand. The bearing stayed down, so it's probably got an oily film or something. She looks pretty good. Let me wipe it off. Number 3. Lift. Just a little bump. I can bump it that way too. There's our thruster. Mains are looking really nice. No scarring there. Let me flip that without dropping something. No scarring there. That looks like a new bearing. Finally, we're down to something good. Number 4. Still lovely. Now I'll see if I can't lift and separate without spinning that. Got a finger in there. Got her. So besides that old nasty oil, let me start wiping in the front. We do have half a groove, which will be just fine for this project. Uh-oh, lost that one. Looking really nice. I think we can save the mains. Obviously, I'm going to pull them back out, but while they're there, I can give them a wipe. I can't soak up some of that nasty. I don't believe our block was super clean when we started. Either that or somebody just poured old dirty burnt motor oil down this thing. I guess burnt motor oil is better than no motor oil. Got her flipped over, the bores wiped out, and we're gonna go see how they'll clean up tomorrow. Definitely not a lot of crosshatch going on, but anyway, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you next time.